Hi, guys, and welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast. I'm Nadine, your host, and I have a special guest for you guys today. It's Carol Metz Murray, and she's going to be sharing her story with us. Not only does she change, but she expands lives. And she's going to be sharing her journey of what she's been through and also how she got to where she is. So, welcome, Carol. I'm so excited to have you on. So, I want to start this show out with a beautiful quote. A whole stack of memories never equal one little hope. So that's kind of cool to think about. I love that saying. So before we get started, Carol, I have one question for you. Out of the past 15 or even 20 years, how many weddings have you been to?
Four.
Four? Okay. So usually when you go into a wedding, the guests are going in, there is this little book. What is that book called that they're signing?
The little guest book.
A little guest book, yes. So one of our biggest sponsors here is lifeonrecord.com. And what they did is like, no more book. This is a really cool concept. They have a vintage rotary phone. So when the guests come in, they can pick up the phone and leave you a message. By hearing, of course, your voice, that's the best gift in the world. So what they'll do, you have 1 minute, 5 minutes, or even 30 minutes. If it's a wedding, I don't suggest the 30 minutes because it will definitely take a long time. But what they do is add a QR code right next to the phone. So you can take out your cell phone, scan that code, and you can do it either before or after the ceremony to leave them a beautiful message. So now, after they get all these messages, they will burn it on a 12-inch vinyl record, or they have this keepsake speaker that they give you, which I call the little boom box and everything. But I mean, you get this phone number for 1 year, and their plans only start at $99. So I tell anybody who's using this for a wedding, I think it'd be really cool, like a month or two before their 1 year anniversary, call that number again. Leave a message, happy anniversary, and then those get collected too. So when you are celebrating that 1 year anniversary and you're taking out that cake top and everything, you can sit back and listen to your friends and family's voices. So to get more information on them, please visit www.lifeonrecord.com. All right, Carol. Yay, I'm so happy to have you here. So tell us, who is Carol?
That is a wonderful question to start with. And I am a woman of impact, where I help evolve both the feminine and the masculine energy in every woman and man to raise the consciousness of this planet.
Good,
Yes,
good
yes,
for you. I
that's who
love
I
that.
am. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm very passionate about that as well. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
No, it really is all about women and men claiming their inner power, their inner strength, because we all have it. We
yeah.
all have it. And claiming it and stepping into it and living from that space. So yes, I get very passionate about that.
Yes, I would too, because it took me a little while to realize what it is and what my spiritual gift was. And I know it comes at different times for people. I mean, you can't just say, "Hey, God, what is it? Let's work on this." It will come to you. And it's like, I feel like it was a learning lesson for me that I had to go through my journey, but it made me awake. And I am using my gift towards this beautiful podcast. So, but I love it. I get to meet so many different people and hear what their journeys were. And, somebody's journey out there is going to be another story for somebody else who might be going through the same thing. So it's just like the roll around effect. I love it. So, but yeah, how did you like how'd you get started in this? Is this something that came to you, I guess, when you were younger, or like what were the steps?
Well, the steps have been a lifetime of steps, and it really truly is my journey.
Good.
And it took a little while for that message to come through and for me to accept that message. But there was a pivotal day in my life where the message came loud and clear, because at that point in my life, I was going down the path, in essence, of no return. And what I mean by that was that I had created this persona of me where I was successful. I had built a successful career. I was working on my post-secondary education. I was at the time was working on my master's. I was raising 4 children, and I just had really disconnected from who I was. And that pivotal day was a day through a long journey where my doctor said to me, Carol, you need to deal with what's going on in your life. You've lived in heavy stress for the 40 years of your life. And if you don't deal with it, I'll make you deal with it. And at that moment, that was a huge wake up call, because there I was. Yes, I was living the job of my dreams. I was completing my master's. I was just very, very close to writing my thesis, but I had children to raise. I was a single mom, and I had burnt myself out so badly that, I had hit the bottom of the barrel. My mental health was in tatters. And it was, there was a lot of different life challenges and experiences that I had not dealt with from the time I was a little girl. And my body was saying, Carol, you need to deal with this now.
Yeah.
Now, there's no more time. So in essence, that was the beginning of my journey
Mm-hmm.
through what I call naked leadership,
Yep.
really beginning to discover who I am, who is the authentic, real, vulnerable Carol. You know, who am I? Who am I
Mm-hmm.
being to lead my own life? And interestingly, Nadine, I have been in leadership positions all of my life. So that was a huge, huge question. Has the journey been easy? Absolutely not. There's been ups and there's been downs. However, that strong, strong desire to really uncover who I am, who I was and am, and the the universal support that I got, because when I got off track, there'd be something that would bring me right on back, right back onto the track. And the gift out of all of that is that it has been a journey.
Yeah.
It's a
I hear
journey.
ya.
It
Yeah.
is truly a journey, and it continues. It continues day in and day out. And it's the
Yeah.
question of, who are you? Who are you being, Carol? And to get to that place of, I am a woman of impact,
Mm-hmm.
changing the consciousness of the planet, that's been my journey. And I recall way back when this journey started in my early 40s, one day out of my mouth comes Mahatma Gandhi's statement of, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, that now for me has evolved to be the love you want to see
Mm-hmm.
in the world, because we are all love.
Yeah.
As challenging as the various and many different kinds of challenges that come up for each and every one of us, really and truly, it's if when we are able to, is what are the gifts and the learnings and the growth that comes out of those experiences?
Yes.
Because they're experiences and they are stories, but they are there. They're not who we are. They've
Mm,
been learnings. They've been
yeah.
our opportunities. So yes, that's who I am. And I continue to discover more and more of who I am. When I think, oh, that's it, no, there'll be
No.
something to deepen me at the core. And that to me is, a gift, the gift that I give to others, whether I'm
Yeah.
speaking, whether I'm working with a group, whether I'm working one-on-one.
Yeah, definitely. So I know with some of our listeners, they're like maybe younger and they don't understand what the journey is yet or the gifts. And, I had my friend, she's so dear to me, but man, many years ago, well, you're just learning right now what your gifts are, but I can't tell you what your gifts are. And, I have been through so many challenges and it really tested me. And one of them I remember really scared me. But I was like, is this real? Like, is this really happening, God? It was something I had to take in and analyze and learn. And when you go through that journey, it brought me closer to God. I mean, you can throw me any challenges with health or relationships or work status, but it's how you take that as a learning lesson to grow and even grow spiritually also. So, I always say, people say never ask why, but never ask God, when is it my time? When am I going to learn this? You can't say, can we make it happen now? Because it's a timing thing. So, but other people, when they go through with these gifts and they learn them, use it to the best of your ability. It's like bring it out to the world and just have fun with it. There's so much joy, there's so much faith in it. And it's just wonderful because I know for me, sitting here talking on this podcast, it's like my mom sees it as, why do you do this? It's not making you any money. Why do you even put your time to this when you can be doing this and this and this? And my answer is because God wants me to spread the word, get it out there. This is my calling. This is my journey. This heals me, puts love in my soul. There's no greater answer than that. There's no price tag on that. It's taking what time I have. And I always talk about time management, but how you divide that time to get a story out there. So, I was out doing my karaoke every Friday night, and this girl I don't even know was sitting next to me. And she's like, you have this glow. There's an energy about you. I'm just picking up on it. And inside, I just giggle. It's like, well, good. I'm glad there's a glow. And I gave her my Keep Hope Alive podcast business card, kind of, and said, here, if you like the glow, you're going to get so many other glows with the stories. And it was priceless. She just lit up. And she's like, you're my new best friend. But it made me feel good. And it's just spreading that, like you do for teaching. What is it? I want to know when you get somebody who wants to learn this, what are they saying to you to promote what they're wanting to learn from you? So walk me through that process.
Well, in essence, when someone comes to me and wants to um, learn from me, It could be for a variety of different reasons, but
Yeah.
oftentimes they will come because they're feeling empty inside.
Hmm.
They may already have a successful career, they may already have a successful business, or they may have a dream inside of them that they haven't allowed out, you know, and it could be too that they're feeling insecure to talk to anyone, people, friends, parents, siblings might say, oh, it'll all come out, it'll all work out, and yet they know that there is something missing. So in
Hmm.
essence, I mean, each in my coaching, each individual is so different in where their
Hmm.
dream is coming from, where they're coming from. But in essence, what is it that they're looking for? What is it that they're looking for and they don't really recognize what it is that they're looking for?
Hmm.
It's actually to connect to who they are. Really and truly, it's to begin that journey of connection to, I can say their higher self, but it's to connect first and foremost
Hmm.
to their heart. Really to begin to understand who they are. Actually, it's for them to get naked with themselves
Yeah.
and begin to understand why they are where they are, why they're feeling empty, why they, um, feel like everybody they're there for everybody else, but no one is there for them, when in essence
Yeah.
they are there for them. And that doesn't matter whether it's feminine energy, whether it's masculine energy. I mean, I had um, someone come to me and they were very persistent. They said, I want to work with you. And my, response was, what has you wanting to work with me? Well, you're a spiritual entrepreneur. And I would, I haven't written that anywhere. But they said, I know you are, and I need to work with you. Well, it was a fascinating journey of being with them because I see myself as a creator when I work with someone. It's
Yeah.
their journey, it's not mine. I am walking with them. I
That's beautiful.
hold radical space for them and radical listening. And yes, through questions and
Hmm.
getting into the heart of the matter is to discover what's been going on for them and for them to begin to reconnect to their own heart. And as they reconnect, they begin to discover who they are.
That
And
is
with
awesome.
particular client, it was, yes, their discovery was that they were successful in their career. And they couldn't understand why they weren't climbing the ladder. Well, it wasn't their time to climb the ladder. It was their time to really flourish where they were, you know,
Exactly.
and they did eventually climb the ladder, but it was once they became secure inside in who they were, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. Had another client who we went through the process of them creating their dream.
That's awesome.
And at the very end of it, the response to me was, thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. No one ever, ever in my whole life has believed in me, has believed that I could put my dreams into reality. You worked with me, you walked beside me, you never ever said, that's a really dumb idea. You held space for me as I moved through and did what I needed to do. So for them,
Nice.
it really was taking the fear muscle that they had created and moving it aside, or as I like to say, putting it at the back of the bus and bringing
Yeah,
out their courage and connecting with their heart and following the dreams that they had already laid out on paper.
that's beautiful. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it just, for me, it is such a gift because I get a gift out of that as I watch someone step into their possibilities, someone begin to blossom like a rose in the springtime, you know, that they really begin to value who they are as an individual and accept that and step into that. And that's what I mean by stepping into your internal strength, because each and every one of us have it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So you make me just smile because, I learned, through a challenging way, like, hey, I want to hear you talk online and do a podcast. I'm in this state and I never really thought about that. It's just like, well, I don't do it online, I was like, and then I told my friend about it. She's like, you should. You just really should. And, it's just that journey of getting here. And I think back to everything that happened, and it was all lined up. And I just chose to walk forward with those steps. And then a true blessing happened. And I was like, there is no time to wait, because what I got was, Nadine, go out and help the world. And to me, that's what I've been wanting to do. So I call it my little blessing. I always talk about my friend who passed away last year, and we always talk about being heard. And we did that for almost 5 years. We just wanted to be heard from, like, whether it was a doctor or, somebody at work or relationship status, get it out there. But that is a part of my journey also. Like, I know she's there by me, rooting for me. I'm so proud of you. I feel like I can hear her saying that, and it just puts a smile on my face. So, but once you do, like, the journey and taking the steps forward, this new sense of learning about yourself is just magical. Like, I can't explain it to anybody, but you're like this whole other person when you get to that point. And I don't know if any of your clients ever expressed that feeling to you. I'm sure they have. Like,
Yes.
whoa, this is new.
Mhm.
So yeah, I want to hear an example.
Well, it's a new discovery. Like they are
Hmm.
discovering for, in essence, the first time, they are on the journey of discovering who they truly are. And from my perspective, without getting into the science, we all know, we are all born as a whole, perfect, and complete. We are. And then we move away from that through our human experiences. But those
Hmm.
human experiences truly are, they are lessons, they are teachings, they are gifts, if and when we're ready to see them.
Hmm.
So for this one client who, um, a successful, absolutely successful executive, they had
Hmm.
done all of the things that they needed to do with, with education and advancing their career. And they came to me and was like, I am so empty. I am so empty.
Wow.
And in that journey with them and really truly listening to who they thought they were,
Hmm.
who they really thought they were, and listening and getting into the nitty gritty mucky stuff of, is that really you? For them to begin to discover their patterns they had put in place, their habits that they had put in place to care for others, to be there for others, to be the, like the pillar of the family. And they had forgotten, really, truly forgotten who they were.
Wow.
That emptiness inside, for me,
Mm-hmm.
is, yes, it's our heart yearning, it's our soul yearning, and it's just a huge message of, okay, okay, Carol, who are you? Who are you being? Figure this out. And with this particular client, and it was, from my perspective, just a fascinating journey. Um, they did some kicking and some screaming along the way of, well, no, that couldn't be me, and no, 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 and I held space for them, and they discovered, it was for them to discover what's inside of them. I can see it, I have that gift, but that's not for me to say, well, you need to do this. No, 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 no. It was
Yeah.
working with them, and again, asking those questions, and the what questions, and sometimes it's the why questions, or
Yeah.
it's doing a timeline with them for them to see when perhaps they began this journey of letting go of who they are to take on being for everybody else and not themselves, and then we work with that timeline. But this individual, I knew that they had come to that precipice of beginning to really step into who they are when they said to me, this journey is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really hard. I don't know. And my automatic response was, yes, you do know. You do know. And as you journey, I am here walking with you.
Yeah.
I am here walking with you. No one ever said you needed to walk on your own. I am here as your support.
Oh,
You have what it takes
yeah.
to discover who you are, to make that reconnection to your heart. I am
Yeah.
the support. What will you do?
Ex-
And they said, I will move forward. And they have discovered things about themselves that they had tucked away. They didn't remember. It just, and to watch them just open up and go, wow, you know, by them doing that, it's changed their relationship with
Mm-hmm.
their spouse. It's changed their relationship with their children, with their family, with their siblings and mother and dad and grandparents. But not only that, it's also changed the work environment in which they work because they are different. They are
Yeah.
being who they are. So, what a domino effect. Like, what a gift that you give yourself and you give others and the world to, as I said earlier, to raise the consciousness of the world.
Yeah, definitely. And it pours out of the body once you learn that. When you're talking with other people, people will see that, and pick up on that energy. And it's a good vibe. And that's what they look for. So, but if you harness like any negative energy, it just comes out like, I'm going to say vomit. It's just no good. Nobody wants to be around that.
Yeah.
So having that, I know when I'm listening to everything you said, I'm rewinding my life of the lessons I've learned recently. And over 4 years, I become like a better listener. And I definitely had a lesson about patience. Well, people in Texas don't drive that well, but it was like that was the first step of patience, was the driving on the highways, and then, having patience of my journey of wanting to find love again. But I realized who I was in the process, what I'm looking for in somebody, who I was meeting and going on dates with, was a journey because it wasn't matching. And then I'm happy to say right now I'm with somebody and everything matches. And I couldn't be more happier. And it's like when you talk about fear, y- I have to take that fear level and just slowly see and bring it down, 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 open up my heart, have faith, understand what I'm doing. Last night was a good example. My the guy I'm dating, he's a singer, a piano player, and he's so good. But I was just like, he goes, I'm gonna be singing my song tonight, but you need to be there. I want to dance with you. I want to sing it to you right in front of everybody. And I'm like, what? Like, it kind of was like, that's never happened, but it was the coolest thing. I was dancing and he sang it perfect. But I realized my heart, it just opened up so much more, gave me more possibilities. Hope was flying through, joy, happiness. I felt like this is the one who will help me, and energy and feeling safe and possibly, love even. So I told him, I appreciate what you did. It was amazing. But when, in relationships, if two people are connecting, that's a good thing. So you're both on the same wavelength. Yes, you may be taking their energy on too, but it's a choice. Do you want that in your life too? I call it the juggling act, in which I'm fully prepared to do that, with somebody that I really care for. But, um, the work aspect brought me to that, and I see where I felt like a last job was the perfect fit. I was at home. Mhm. But things happened to where that position was eliminated because there was going to be changes. And it's like, okay, well, I understand that. Like, I had to breathe, and, somebody told me, well, good. And I was like, good? Like, why? She goes, because you're helping the world right now. And I was like, well, I didn't look at it that way. I was like, more, okay, but I got bills to pay. I still need to have a job. So, I told myself, take this breather, because my heart was so full at my last job. It felt like a breakup to me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It didn't feel like leaving a job. It just felt like my heart was totally ripped out. Like, I hate to say that, but I know moving forward, I want to make that best decision for me and my family before I go and pouring my heart out to another employer and stuff. So making sure, but when you have this balancing act, has anybody ever came to you and said, well, I know what my gift is, but I don't think I can do it right away, and maybe in the form of this, maybe it's a podcast or writing a book or being a public speaker about it. Have they ever came to you and said it was about time and their life is too busy, how they put that in there? That's a good question.
Yes, I have. I have had uh, individuals who have come to me to say, you know, there's this and this and this and this and this going on in my life.
Yeah,
And being who I am, and really, again, that radical listening piece, as I listened and, you know, walked with them and was there to help them create, what's interesting, in my realizing they wanted change, but they were not yet ready to make that change.
gotcha.
And that was okay. You know, I needed to be at peace within myself. I could see their possibilities. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And and when, it's like, well, there's this, and this waiting for them. Carol, it's not your journey. It's their journey.
Yeah.
So what and who can you be as they are walking that journey? And with this in particular individual that has come to mind, it was the journey of being there for them and
Mm-hmm.
again, being that support and being the individual who would be there to ask them the questions that, in essence, needed to be asked, that they needed to think about and process. I knew eventually they would see it.
Yeah.
And eventually they did.
Yay.
Eventually they did recognize who they were, the value they were bringing to this world, and they made the shifts in their
Good.
life that they needed to make.
Good.
It didn't happen in 1 month or 6 months. This took a number of years,
Yeah.
but everybody is on their own journey. We are unique individuals. I mean, we are all connected. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you're in Texas and I'm here, we are all connected. And so it's, that support and holding that space and holding that energetic frequency and letting someone know that there is there is support there and that they are okay to keep moving forward. It will take them a little bit of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Some
I
people write a book in a day, other people
yeah.
write a book in a lifetime. It just depends.
Agreed.
Yes, it just depends.
I was like, I need a book for each journey I've been on. But yeah, I talked to many authors and talking about books. I know you collaborated with a few. And do you have a book coming out soon on your own?
I do. I do. That is one of my goals for 2024 is to get my book published. I have a first draft and now I'm beginning to work through that because there's been several years in between when I did the first draft to now. So there's going to be some adjustments to it, but I'm excited about getting that out there. It's been wonderful, a wonderful gift to be a book collaborator, and I've done that 5 times. I mean, what a gift to meet people from around the world, and we share stories. I mean, it's a one way of confirming for you that it doesn't matter where people live on this beautiful globe, everyone has stories, everyone. So
Yes.
yes, 2024, my gift will be coming out. My book will be coming out. I can't tell you the title of it right now, but it will be happening. And I will also say to you that the gift of being in a book collaboration is truly a gift because it's great learning. Great learning. You learn all sorts of different things, certainly about publishing. But again, you learn about yourself, you learn about being in a team, you learn about, different ways of collaborating and sharing and supporting. So it's been a phenomenal journey.
Maybe I need to do that. I've never thought about that, but I know I wanted to do two books at least, and it's just, do I get a ghostwriter to help me? It's just like, what is it going to take? But, I hear about authors. No, I sit down and focus and write it out. And on Netflix, I've been watching this show, Jane the Virgin, and she's an author writer. And just, you know, it's kind of like either you do really good writing, but you have to take a break, and then your mind goes, wow, let's write this down. Da, 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 and I remember she had all these index cards with each kind of idea for each chapter. And I go, that's smart. And I kind of, you know, I go, well, my podcast is my book. My TikTok is a book to me because it tells the story of what I've been through. Even if I do shorts for like 10 minutes, of talking, it's still like a book to me. And I love that aspect. So, mm,
Well, and the book
yes.
is different things to different people.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I will share a little story with you. I once upon a time had an idea in my
Mhm.
subconscious that writing was not who I was. Okay. I also had an idea in my mind that creativity wasn't who I was. My mom gave me a wonderful gift, and my mom um, passed away in 2013. When I got back home from her um, service and last goodbye to her, that week I had in my email inbox 2 emails from different people asking for me to be part of book collaborations. And it
Wow.
was like, really? Who are these people? How did they get my email? And all the questions and all the self doubt and on and on and on. And then there was this voice that said to me, Carol, just do it now.
Yeah.
That was actually my mom's voice. And what I did was that voice came through, and I pulled up both of the emails and I responded saying, yes, I will be part of the collaboration. Please give me more information.
Yeah.
After I sent them off, it was like, oh, what did you do?
Yeah.
However, I discovered that I could write. And it was a process really of getting my thoughts on paper.
Nice.
You just go blah, and then you go back and you read what you wrote and you rewrite. And it was been a fascinating process of me gaining super confidence that yes, I can write. And
Yeah,
I may write
definitely.
differently than someone else, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
My last book collaboration, I did my chapter, I wrote my chapter, and I set it aside. And I went back and I read it and I said, mm-mm, this just isn't sitting right with me. And part of it was because the, yes, it's my story, but for me was, okay, how can I tell this in a different way and still
Yeah.
get the point across? And what I did, it was just, those that idea came through and it was okay, do it. And I did it in narrative style. And I wrote it as the little girl, and I brought in my pet dog and my pet cat, and I brought in a ladybug, and it was fascinating to create the story through their eyes,
Yeah.
tell the same story.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. It was, and it was when I did it and I sent it off to the editor, they came back to say, okay, I've reviewed it and I've tweaked it. What do you think of these suggestions? They didn't come back to say, Carol, that's a really dumb idea.
Hmm.
They accepted it and provided editing suggestions. So
Wow.
it's constant it is constant learning as we write about kind of every chapter in our life. And it isn't about being perfect. Some people have the gift of writing, some people learn about writing and do
Yeah.
it. You know, we all have different gifts that we have arrived with and that we share with.
Yep,
Me-
definitely.
One of my gifts is speaking. I started to public speak when I was age 11, much to my mother's chagrin.
Wow.
And I discovered that that's one of my gifts.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, I know running at meetup groups and talking in front of people, you know, at first it was like my heart was racing, but now it's like I want to do that again, you know? I want to get out there in front of the public and stuff. And always see it now on like Facebook things. We need public speakers and da 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 da. But I look at it and I go, okay, well, I'm holding back. I don't know if it's a little bit of a fear, but I know I would do really good at it. So it's just like, I think I just need to, maybe in my head, I'm like, do I take Toastmasters or I want to have a better like feel for it before I go and do it and everything. So that's important to me. I don't want to get up there and sound dumb, like I can't carry on a conversation, but it's definitely in my goal bucket for 2024. So I'm looking forward to
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So, but
Well,
yeah, this is, you've been through a lot of different things. And I mean, I just love it because you've been through the layers of your life, but you put your energy into helping other people look for their internal power. That's what you have. And I was like, that is wonderful. So, um, and I know the creation that you created, the Naked Leadership Institution, I believe. Yeah, that is very important. So, can you tell us your journey on that also?
well, my journey to get to the point of launching Naked Leadership really is it is about the discovery of who you are. And
Hmm.
in being in leadership positions all of my life, whether in with not-for-profits, whether in, as a say a general manager in a business or with government, you're a leader. And the question always is who am I? Who am I as that leader? Naked leadership really is all about individuals discovering who they are as a
Yeah.
leader. Because whether you are a woman or a man or a mom or a dad or a CEO or business owner, or you may be a janitor, or whatever you may be, who
Hmm.
who are you being? So really learning to lead your own life. And the more that you learn to lead your own life, the better you will be at leading others. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
and for me, when I say to people, learning to be a leader in your own life is about learning to put yourself first. And the response is, Kara, you're incredibly selfish. And my response is, no, I'm not, because I
Hmm.
have learned as a result. My pivotal moment was burnout, big time, where my mental health was impacted, my physical health was impacted
Hmm.
because I didn't put myself first. I put
Yeah.
for everyone else because that's what I thought I needed to be. That's who I thought that was what it was expected. Well, I'm not certain of what that was expected. I did that. You know, I
Yeah.
I took that on. So in essence, well, a mom will say to me, well, how can I put myself first? I have children to take care of. I have a baby to take care of. And my response is there must be 15 to begin with, 15 or 20 seconds where you can actually stop.
Yeah.
And if it is just one thing, stop and say to yourself, I am, I am me. I am responsible for me. I accept me. That's
Mm-hmm.
taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
That is taking care of yourself. Then there will be other times where, yes, it's you're busy because you're working, you're a mom, you're in a relationship, whatever it might be. But there are moments where you can carve out a
Yeah.
moment, 60 seconds in a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You put yourself first. And really, that begins with a body mind connection, is
Yeah.
accepting, begin to accept who you are and be committed to who you
Yeah.
are. That doesn't take hours in a day.
Yeah.
That can take seconds. So that's the beginning. And
Yes.
and when women and men get that, they can begin to put themselves forward. Because again, it is living from the internal. As I say, naked leadership is not about the external. And I always put a qualifier on it when I talk to people. I say it's about you get to keep your clothes on because naked leadership is an internal job. It's internal work. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it is accepting who you are and connecting to that heart center that you are.
Yeah. That is so true. That really is. And it makes you also how you run your business, how you look at others and how you treat them and everything. It's so, so important. So, mm, wow, that's powerful. I love that because I know about 25 or 20 years ago, I was a totally different person. I was a more of a chatterbox and it was like, "Oh, well, I do this and I do that, but it's not like that. I'm what do you do? I want to know, I want to hear, I want to learn from it. So when I connect with vendors, I'm just like, tell me something, that nobody knows yet about your company and what you do. And, it catches them. And I had a dear friend, and she's a sponsor on here, tell me that. But as I take that in, that is a wonderful question. It's just kind of like, who are you? Let's bring it out in you and everything. So that is very important to know who you are and what you can give to another vendor and help them. I'm just, when I talk to my vendors, I go, I love being here. I love seeing what you do. It helps me if somebody comes to me and says, hey, do you know anybody who does this? And what has your experience or meeting with them been like? It really has a volume to it. You can look at a website and see reviews, and you can see if they are on any podcasts, and see their interviews and go, yeah, I want to meet that person and go from there. I bet they can really help. So, but I love, that you're helping all these people find their way and their inner self. That's amazing. So, how would somebody contact you and move forward?
Someone may contact me through my website, which is www.carolmetzmurray.com, or
Okay.
they can also find me on LinkedIn, and it's LinkedIn forward slash in forward or linkedin.com/in/Carol Metzmurray Carol Metzmurray. They can find me in both of those places,
Yeah.
absolutely, and reach out to me, um, whether by email or by a phone message.
Yep.
Absolutely, reach out. Absolutely.
That is good. That's really good. Well, I want to tell you, Carol, I am so happy that you came to talk to everybody on our podcast today. That is just amazing. And I hope I covered everything with you. So, but really quickly, I also want to thank our sponsors here for Keep Hope Alive. And, as I mentioned, we had lifeonrecord.com, which is your interactive guest book for all events. We also have bridalshowsinc.com. So if you are in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area, planning a corporate event or even wedding, they have about 5 trade shows out of the year. I know their next one is the end of January at the Dallas Market Hall. It's going to be beautiful. I love it. They do the fashion shows, everything. Get to meet those vendors and talk to them and set up appointments. So check out, and if you're in a different state and want to have a party here in Texas, they're good to go too. So, our next one, he's brand new, Ogden Ventures LLC, Marquise Ogden. He is a retired NFL football player, but he has gone into keynote speaking. He's a best-selling author, and he does wonders. So, I believe you can find him. It's actually his name, I think, marquiseogden.com, and you can go from there. Then we also have Miles and Smiles Events.com. Deborah Rose, her background is investigation, but she takes all that power she has from there. She's like, who I love her, but she incorporates it for events. She's a handwriting analyst and a lipstick reader, and she's 100% accurate. My mouth drops every time I watch her in action at events, or she at my old job, she came and talked to all three of us, and I sit there, I'm like, there's no way this is gonna work. And I was like, whoa, she got me down to a point and everybody else. So she's a fun one to book and have at your events. One more drink of water. Mm. Our next one is Bryce Harney. His website is www.brycemagic.com. He is a magician and a mind mentalist. He's all over the United States doing corporate events, church events, and just he's extremely good too. So he's been on TV, a couple different stations and everything for his magic decks. So look him up as well. Our next one is richmondpunch.net. He is world's best, in my opinion, violinist. He graduated from the Juilliard, and he's been doing this for so many years. So I think longer than me. Maybe it's been over 30 years. But he had a couple TV slots on Lifetime shows where he was playing the violin. He's been playing in front of like 1 million people before it was a big funeral, but they asked him. He's just amazing. So our next one is TK Hair Salon. So if you are in Plano, Texas, look them up at tkhairsalon.com. They do men's, women's, children's hair. They do the coloring and everything. They do updos for big social events, and then anything facial. They're a wonder. So remember, guys, if you have any questions for us today, you can leave a message for Carol, you can leave a message for me, but you can call our number at 833-780-COPE, which is 4673, and ask away. We'll get it sent over and get those questions answered. It may come on a TikTok, or it may be another podcast with it answered. But we are about to jump into season 11 already. I can't believe it, and I'm excited about that. Go find us wherever you find your podcast. We are on there. So leave us a message. Like I said, we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Linktree. I was like, you name all those platforms, and we are on there. So, but definitely, I want to say thank you again, Carol, so much for coming on, and what a blessing it was, because you're truly talented in what you do. I'm going to post all your information onto our site. So you can always see that at www.keephopealivepodcast.com. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Carol, for coming on. Until next show, love and light. Mwah. Bye bye.